worthy.
Well, what have they done to this?
So we'll call this meeting to order. If everybody can please bow their heads for a quick prayer. Gracious God, as we come before you today to discuss important matters, we ask for your guidance and wisdom. Amen. We'll do our roll call.
Commissioner Ashworth,
Here.
Commissioner Thorne,
Here.
Commissioner Arndt. Here. Commissioner Max,
Here.
Commissioner Jordan, Commissioner Hawkins, Commissioner Skeen,
Here.
Commissioner Sapley.
Alrighty, has everybody had time to review the minutes from last month? Is there a motion for them?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as written from the last meeting.
Second.
Commissioner Thorne,
Aye.
Commissioner Sapley, Commissioner Arndt,
Abstain.
Commissioner Max,
Aye.
Commissioner Ashworth,
Aye.
Commissioner Skeen.
Aye.
All right, our first item on new business, PL 1872. Austin, you want to present that to us?
Yes, sir. I'm going to recuse myself on this one.
Okay.
PL 1872, the request is to allow gravel parking lot and a waiver of the curb and gutter in the rear at 2670 Highway 51 North, on the east side of Highway 51, south of Star Landing. Mr. Ricky Butler is here tonight representing the application. Property zone C2, highway commercial, and the setbacks are listed in your staff report. The commercial zoning is what's triggered this requirement. We did receive a business license application and a request for a certificate of occupancy for a landscaping business that's currently at the property, which has triggered the design review of the requirement for the same surface. For the record, I will read the approval or denial criteria for your consideration tonight. That the special conditions and circumstances that exist are peculiar to the land structures or buildings involved and are not generally applicable to other land structures. The literal enforcement of the provisions of these standards would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties within the same district under the terms of this ordinance. The special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant and are not based upon. Granting this variance, requested would not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is otherwise denied by the land structures or buildings. In your staff report, I did include the civil plans drawn that reflect the paved parking that's proposed in the front. I believe the applicant is proposing a fence to connect and screen some of the parking in the rear. If you can see the paved surface that you see on the civil plan show what's proposed to be paved. We did include pictures of the site of the front and the rear of the building to give you an idea of what's out there now. And so the gravel you see in the front of the building would be proposed to be paved, and everything in the rear would remain as is. I did provide proposed motions to approve, deny, or table in your staff report. I don't know if you have any questions.
Are you able to pull up, Austin, that drawing?
So the front of the building that you see, the overhead doors are here. There's a new proposed ADA ramp, and that's the proposed paving surface. Everything in the rear and side would be proposed to stay the same as is currently on the site.
You said there's a fence with some screening proposed.
Yes, sir. I'll let the applicant explain a little bit better, but he is proposing a fence to go roughly right here.
51 would be to the west there, right?
That's the extent of the civil plans that we're drawing. It's just that piece there. The site map kind of gives you an idea. So, that's an old aerial. A lot of that's no longer there, but that's the part that's proposed to stay gravel in the side here.
Anybody have any questions for Austin? The applicant, please come forward, state your name, and address.
Yes, my name's Greg. I work for Mr. Butler. I represent him, sales, marketing, and any governmental affairs. First of all, I want to tell you, I thank you for your public service for the community. Secondly, what I'd like to say is we're requesting this variance, and if you'll see on the drawing at 2670, there's absolutely no parking in the front between the buildings to the south of the building there. And what we're proposing is to, if we can obviously pave all the front, but then we would request, if the board would allow, we'd like to be able to put a 6-foot privacy fence up. And we think from a beautification standpoint, that would be better because he's still going to have some, a few trucks and things parked back there. But with the fence, that would be blocked from 51 Highway.
How far, so will the fence go all the way to 26, or I guess it'll go to the property line, or will it go to 2680?
It would go, you going to show them on the map, Ricky?
Take the fence from here, across and bring our paving here to the fence, and stop it there. We poured gravel here already.
So the asphalt will go to the back of the building on 2670, the back corner,
Yes.
Yes,
and
sir.
the fence from there.
Straight across.
Okay.
Actually, on the 2680, there's actually nothing there but planted grass. We planted grass, and it's got a little shed on there where we keep some hay and old stuff, you know how you do. And there's absolutely nothing on that side at all, and never will be.
And in the agreement between the owner of the property and the tenants, they're only allowed 3 vehicles out front at a time.
Change that with our civil engineer.
Well, I'm talking about the way it's currently set up, right?
Well, Charlie said it's supposed to be 3 vehicles, no more.
Just so I can catch up, so variances for gravel in the back, so the east of 2670 to the back.
Correct. Correct.
Plan to do the pavement is on the east, on the west edge of 2670, parking and then wrapping around the north of 2670.
Yes. They actually meet up.
That's paved. And then I heard of variance for a fence?
Privacy
I
fence.
think the fence is something they're offering to help screen what's back there.
To help screen what's back there. And obviously, we'll pull a permit for it and
And then-
everything.
So this is about graveling the side of that building in the back.
That's right, yes.
Right.
And Austin, that fence would have to be in the corner of that district.
Wood, wrought iron, it could not be chain link or anything like that.
No, no.
Which we wouldn't put that on there. We feel like it would devalue the property.
I can't hear both, two people both talking.
I'm sorry, we would not, even if you allowed, we wouldn't want to put a chain link fence. We feel like it would devalue the property, so our plans, if allowed, are to put a wooden privacy fence, 6 foot.
That doesn't require a special condition for variance.
No, sir, just the gravel in the back.
And is the trailer maintenance still going to be there?
trailer
It
maintenance.
doesn't look like that right now. I don't know how old that picture is, but it doesn't look anything like that. But on the right side, all the way at 2660, he does have some trailers there that he does where he modifies them and then they come pick them and leave them. But all of that other stuff is no longer there. The back, there's a set tractor trailer in the back, none of that's there.
It's gone.
You probably have a count of 12 trailers, and then all of that other stuff is not there at all. And actually, I don't show it paved, but all of it's paved but 2670, and Mr. Skeen is gonna incorporate all of that through, working through him. All of the front with planters and trees and pavers and all of that to benefit all three,
And curbs.
and curbing.
Okay.
That's what we like.
A lot of these photos have a lot of standing water, and that's where the gravel is going, correct? Is there a plan to drain that, or how do you?
Well, right now,
Is that water-
the standing water is only on right now, there's kind of a dirt and gravel mix back there, but it's not fully a gravel deal. We're wanting to gravel the whole thing back there, and with the elevation of that and the way the water drains, we feel like that won't be an issue.
Drainage on there. There's a culvert right there below the end in Hernando, and it's a 18-inch culvert, and that is actually a small ditch that goes to that real big one on the north side. But it is a valley there, say 2 foot deep, maybe 3 foot wide, already there. And we haven't had any problems with it in the last 10 years of flooding, any water problems or anything in the back. They've always been able to drive on it through the years.
And was it you, Commissioner Thorne, that asked about the trailers?
That was me.
That was you, I'm sorry. Excuse me, sir. My
No,
apologies.
you're good.
All of that any of that that's over there would be on the 2660 property. The 2670 property, the only trailers he would have are his trailers that he uses to haul his equipment in and out. So they won't be there during the day. They'll be out and about.
I was just asking because
Yes, sir, I
it just
understand.
sounds like and he's done, I've taken trailers to him, so I know what he does. But it just sounds like if he's still going to be there with the trailers, the privacy fence will help with that as well.
Yes, sir, it will.
So kind of-
We believe it will.
Other questions for the applicant right now?
Thank you, sir.
Anybody here to speak for or against this item, please step forward, state your name and address. I have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve a variance requested by Ricky Butler to allow gravel parking. The subject property is located at 2670 Highway 51 North on the east side of Highway 51, south of Star Landing Road in Section 24, Township 2, Range 8, as amended here, A through D.
I'll second.
Commissioner Thorne?
Aye.
Commissioner Safley?
Aye.
Commissioner Arndt? Aye. Commissioner Ashburn?
Aye.
Motion passes.
We have to have a fifth vote.
Acting as commissioner, right?
Right, but we only have 4 votes.
I think last time we did have a Keith vote, but it's, I mean, it doesn't matter at this
Yeah.
point. Yes, no, or abstain.
Aye.
Okay.
All right.
All right, that motion passes. Next item. Oh, yeah, you want to get, Richard, you want to get Shay?
Do what?
You want to get Skeen?
too.
All right, next item up is PO 1873, 2353 Highway 51, conditional use. Austin, you want to present that for us?
Yes, sir. Appeal 1873 is a request for a conditional use to allow a food truck to be operated at 2353 Highway 51 South. This is located north of Commerce Street, west side of Highway 51. Kelly Everett's here tonight representing Meredith McAlexander, who owns the property. The property is currently zoned C3, and in C3 zoning, food trucks are allowable by conditional use. In previous applications, the commission has deemed it appropriate to include hours of operation, numbers of customers, or other items that directly can address the approval or denial criteria. And for the record, I'll read those once tonight. The next two applications are both conditional uses, and so the same approval or denial criteria are applicable. One, how this proposed use will not substantially increase traffic hazards or congestion. How the proposed use will not substantially increase fire hazards. How this proposed use will not adversely affect the character of the neighborhood. The proposed use will not adversely affect the general welfare of the city. How this proposed use will not overtax public utilities or community facilities. And how this proposed use does conform to the recommendations of the city's general development plan. And the applicant did provide responses to each of those. In your staff report, there is a narrative that shows generally how often and how many food trucks will be operated. Proposals for one at a time to be located on the side of the building, off of highway, not on Highway 51. The proposed use is there on Mondays and Tuesdays, which is when her business will be closed, and she has access to the patios and garbage cans on her lot if they so choose to sit there. On the aerial map, you can see the red square is the proposed use where it will be located on West Northern Street. Visible from Highway 51, but will not take up any of that unrestricted parking along the frontage of the building. And we did a site map as well, or a Google Street View, just to give you an idea of what that use would look like from Highway 51. As I mentioned, Ms. Kelly Everett's here tonight representing the application, and I did provide proposed motions to approve, deny, or table, and I'm available if you got any questions.
Does anybody have a question for Austin? All right, the applicant, please come forward and state your name and address.
Hi, Kelly Everett, and do you want my personal address or my?
Use your, most people use their business address.
Okay, 2353 Highway 51 South, Suite 2.
So Mondays, Tuesdays, basically from 10 to 6.
Yes.
Is what the requested is. One food truck at a time. They have access to your water, your garbage cans, and your restrooms
And patio, yeah.
and patio. Yeah. My concern, my only concern I see with it is the noise from like generators. So do y'all have like some sort of electrical plug, like they could plug into to cut down the noise? Because I know there's some residences right behind there, and we have a funeral home right beside there. So the last thing I would want to hear if I was at a funeral or, you know, or at the house is a generator running for, some of those can be very loud, you know. at food
Sure,
trucks. So
sure.
Is
I-
running for 8 hours a day.
Right. I do have an outside outlet.
Is 120 volt, probably.
I'm not sure.
Like you plug a fan into it, probably.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the food trucks and their generators and how loud they are. I haven't personally witnessed that.
So if I'm understanding the map and the plan here, the food truck, one food truck at a time on Mondays and Tuesdays on the north side,
Yes.
according to the map here, that would take up three parking spots, which would only leave 4 parking spaces on that right off Northern Street.
Correct. And then I have parking in front as well.
That patio, it says use of the patio, what does that mean? So if somebody wanted to like.
Well, yeah, if a
get up and
customer
stay
came
there,
and got food, they could sit down and eat it outside if they wanted
And
to.
then use of the water and facilities, is that
That would just be for the owners of the food truck,
Not for the customer.
not?
not for the customers.
What's that rule?
I think it's one of the
That the
restroom,
food truck
access
has
to
to provide
restrooms.
restrooms for
So
customers?
it's been done both ways. If the primary use is just a come and go, I think the bagel guy used that consideration where he didn't expect anyone to sit there and didn't provide accommodations to do so. Now, and there's been another one where it was like a barbecue truck proposed and you guys did feel a restroom would be needed. And so that business owner made themselves available to have the restrooms available if that's the problem.
That's what I'm getting at, because there was one barbecue here, so, but if you're offering the patio
Then I
to
would need,
customers that would want to stay to eat their lunch after we.
then they could have
require
access. Then I can make that happen.
that. Now, is that Fratello's restaurant or T and Sassaine's restaurant facility? Where would they get?
Tea place.
It's the tea,
Tea place would
Yeah.
be the one where they.
yes.
Yeah, I personally think like restrooms are huge. I mean, just, most people are gonna come and go, but you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and it will be available for sure.
How do we address, going back to what you didn't know, if these food trucks have gas generators and they're running all day?
Boy, we have a noise ordinance, right?
We do.
So as long as it meets the criteria for that.
And the food trucks are licensed, and, I mean, they operate in other areas already in DeSoto County and in other places in
But to the
Mississippi,
point.
so,
Mr. Max was saying is that this is a stone's throw from a resident. It's right, somebody lives like right there.
And a funeral home.
If, how do we measure the noise? Not, somebody's gonna go out there with a decibel meter.
It's really a minute, like, most
It's a
people.
probability.
Yeah, it's like but there's an easy fix to it. Like, homeowners do it all the time. I did it for myself for like an RV plug-in external to your house. Electrician comes out. It's not that expensive for them to put, a plug-in externally on the building for them to plug their cord in instead of having to run their generator.
Okay.
Like, it's not,
okay.
like, people with RVs have done it at their houses all the time. It's probably, depending on where the panel is and stuff, I mean, it's probably like less than $500.
Okay,
And it would just save the noise complaints, I think, from the neighbors to the back and the funeral home. I think ease everyone's mind, it sounds like. If that's something you're willing
yep,
to do.
definitely.
How long was this, it's a conditional use, how long were you thinking, or how long were they thinking?
I'm not exactly sure, but 2 years, I mean, I don't know how often this process needs to be repeated, so I think I put 2 years, I'm not sure.
Yeah, the reason to put a timeline on it is just to, give us
An
a
idea.
chance to come back and say, hey, everything's been fine, there's been no issues, no complaints, they're following everything, and that way,
I
then there's
think,
no problem.
yeah, and I think I put 2 years because that's when my lease is up, so.
That makes sense.
So if you leave, they leave.
Yeah, right.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Just on more of a policy, we can't require the owner to install.
You could say no gas generators, which would force
As
the
part of the
requirement. Because, I mean,
conditional
if it's run off a gas generator, I feel like if it's just a few lights and stuff, they could go off a 120 and there would be no plug required. But if someone needed a bigger plug, they could install it.
Most of them have some sort of air conditioner for when it's hot, try to help put the heat in there, or some sort of electric devices in there. Most of them probably have a 220. I mean, it's probably not a high amperage, but it's something. So you're saying part of the, we can make it as long as there's no gas generators in
It'd be
our-
easier for us to enforce.
Yeah, so it'd just be,
Conditional use,
you just add that as one of the.
I would feel better. That way we just prevent noise pollution, possible noise pollution, and neighbors.
Okay,
Because otherwise it would just be a truck parked in a parking lot on a Monday, nobody would pay attention
Right.
Because they would want the support too, like from the neighbors and stuff. And
Yeah,
if it-
yeah, I mean,
and if
I'm
they're-
sure
if
they
they're
don't
dealing with
wanna
noise, like, oh, I'm
irritate
not gonna
anybody.
support them, I hope they don't make it, but, if they're quiet,
Yeah,
then they would be an asset to the neighborhood and to the community.
okay. Sounds
All
good
right.
to me.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is anybody here to speak for or against this item? Please come forward. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the application by Kelly Everett, representing the owner for a conditional use for a food truck to be operated at 2353 Highway 51 South. The subject property is located on the west side of Highway 51 South, north of Commerce Street in sections 13, Township 3, Range 8. The following conditions 1 through 6 for the period of 2 years as of today, and that the food trucks do not operate gas generators.
And subject to the use of restrooms.
And restrooms available for customers.
Motion, is there a second?
No, I'll second.
Thorne?
Aye.
Commissioner Safley?
Aye.
Commissioner Aaron's? Aye. Commissioner Ashworth?
Aye.
Commissioner Skeen?
Aye. Motion passes. Next item, conditional use is PL 1875, 2810 Highway 51 South. Austin?
Yes, sir. As you mentioned, this is PL 1875. The request is located in the C2 district, which triggered this conditional use requirement for the gas pumps as an accessory use to a convenience store. Kelly Kilgore's tonight, representing this application, located at 2810 Highway 51 South. This one's a bit different than the last few we've had come through as a conditional use in that the pumps are physically there, but have been out of operation for quite some time. And so the way our ordinance reads is if something goes out of operation for more than a year, its grandfathered status is lost. And so in order to bring that back, that's what's triggered this process tonight for a conditional use permit. The approval or denial criteria are the same as the last application, and the applicant has provided responses to each of those. If approved tonight, this use would have to be approved through the Department of Environmental Quality for the pumps, and all site improvements would be required to come up to current design standards. And so anything associated with these pumps or the store would have to be come up to our design standards if approved. I did include pictures in the staff report of the current pumps. And as you can see, they've been in existence for quite some time, but they are out of service. The convenience store has been consistently operated throughout the years, but the pumps have not been. The Kelly Kilgore is here tonight representing the application, and I'm available if you got any questions.
We don't have a set of plans of what it'll look like yet from the applicant.
I did receive a building permit for an original proposal from Sunoco, but that original proposal did not meet our design standards based on the colors. The applicant did say he'd be willing to work with Sunoco on getting a revised set of plans to show what that'd be looking like. But tonight, just for the use, they're not here. But if approved, it would be required to meet all standards.
So to be clear, the approval of the pumps would kick in the improvement of the entire facility.
Yes, and so I'll pull up some pictures. The convenience store and the pumps are kind of what I think it's proposed to be improved. The site is connected to a larger structure, but as you can see, it's connected to a series of buildings, but according to the applicant, what will be improved would be this convenience store and then the canopy.
Right. So that
Is
will,
all 4 pumps part of this, or is it still going to be 4 pumps?
Yes, sir.
Is there any underground considerations?
I did call DEQ to ask just the process of restarting these pumps. and they're very familiar with this. Apparently, it's more common than I thought about pressure testing, underground well testing. There's a way to test the linings of the tanks, and then the pressure to make sure they're not leaking. But all of that would come, I guess, during the building permit review, but that would be required to be okayed before it goes.
So the conditional use for us would kickstart that process. Process will, there are upgrades or other further.
Yes, sir.
This is part of a larger plan with Sunoco to come in and redo the facade and the canopy?
That's kind of what triggered this whole process. We got a building permit from Sunoco to improve the canopy and repaint the building. But since they've been out of operation for so long, the use had been lost. And so that's where they're starting here, is to get the use back okay.
Caught up.
And there's no kind of setback distance from the highway the pumps have to be?
There is a setback requirement of the pumps currently, but since the building's already built, it's a legal non-conforming structure. It's just the use is what they're asking for on the conditional use. So it is in non-compliance, but it is grandfathered in of where it's at.
The building itself?
And the canopy, yes, sir.
And I'm assuming that without the pumps, Sunoco probably not so much interested in the rest of the building as far as renovating and all of that.
I'll defer to the applicant. It appeared that that's probably just the only thing Sunoco would be involved with.
Right.
Because if not, I'm just thinking that out there where Whataburger used to be, Whataburger is now.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to dig the tanks out and have to redo.
And we don't even know, nobody knows if these tanks are even worthy
Yeah.
of it. So if they have to be dug up, that could be a whole other nightmare.
When's the last time they were in operation?
I don't know. I'll defer to the applicant. It's been years.
Longer since I've been here, I've never seen them. I don't think.
Will the applicant please come forward, state your name and address? We seem to have a lot of questions for you. so.
Good afternoon, y'all. No, they have not been operational in a few years at
Will you
least.
state your name and address,
Oh, I'm
please?
sorry. Kelly Kilgore, 2818 Highway 51 South, right here in Hernando. No, they have not been operational, but they have, you know, you stay in touch with the environmental agency, you know, and they have been what they call, I think they called it temporarily, permanently shut down for a while, is what they have been. So they still have to have something that keeps them from rusting and all that, and operation and all that. And, you know, and we have a sheet that's telling us what to do to get it up to code through the state, through Wesley McCain, through the State Department or environmental agency. And I mean, to what I'm seeing and what he says, it's not that big of a thing. You know, they come in and do their thing and get them back up to code. And we know we have to do that. The big part of this is to involve Sunoco, because we want to revitalize the whole store and the whole outlook. And that includes the two-story building next to it.
Oh.
It's all going to be repainted to a scheme that we all can agree on, you know, color code or whatever, color matching, whatever y'all, you know, I think y'all, it was white. I don't know why it didn't approve the white one, but I don't know if it was because of that, or they had a rainbow in it, I think. And I don't know if y'all didn't approve that, or.
We didn't see the plans. So.
Okay, I don't know who didn't, somebody I thought didn't approve.
I think Austin
approve
looked
it,
at it.
maybe. I don't know.
The plans also are like bright yellow and blue, so it may have been a different iteration. I don't know.
I thought the majority of it was gonna be white though, you know, like 95% of it, and then we're gonna have like a blue and yellow, or, I don't know.
They may have sent the wrong ones. I don't know.
Okay, but I
And
mean,
that's
but they're willing to work with
Sunoco
that.
brand colors. Okay.
Yeah, they're like Shell or Mobile or, right.
I'm sure there'll probably have to be a lot of brick done too, to the front of it.
Yeah, depending. I'm not sure what the building material is.
Most of it is cinder block.
Cinder block.
CMU, but I mean, usually the canopies are just either earth tone or white, so that'd be fine. Yeah, the white's
Okay, yeah,
fine.
and I think they'll go with white, the way I understand it. But of course, they are going to totally redo the gas pumps themselves. But I do think they're going to go down from 4 gas pumps to 2. Believe them at essentially the same location, at least from the distance from the road.
Well, that was my question, because if you put 4 pumps there, that's cars, potential 8 vehicles.
Right. I think they're going to limit it down to 2.
Setback that you were talking about, you're not
And
really
maybe
getting
fuel
off the
type.
road very far.
Like now the fuel types are combined on the same,
Right, they can have
Right.
multi-different ones, yeah. Where before, you had to have one go this way, one go that way, or one's 87, one's 90.
Right, right.
Yeah, so if that was,
It makes
if each
sense
one of
as
those stations was combined to 1, so you'd have 2 pumps, that would reduce the traffic.
But there again, the main plan is they're gonna, of course, me and my leaser, we need help with the funds to get it up to looking better and painted and the pumps fixed and all that, and they're willing to help. And it's just, I'm hoping just revitalize the whole place there, starting right there from, you see that building over. And upgrade it.
Yeah, it certainly needs it.
No, I like the idea somebody's interested, for sure.
Yes, and that was, honestly,
that's
all that
a-
was rented for years. My father, in last 2.5 years, none of, me or him hadn't been able to keep up with it, and the leaseor before this gentleman, she about ran it in the ground, to be honest with you, and she got sick and had to quit, and so I've released it to this gentleman, and he's the one that's contacted Sunoco and made the plans to revitalize the whole place. But in order to do that, they want to sell gas, of course. So. I couldn't do it because I didn't own it. My father owned it, but he passed in January, and I've become sole owner, and I'm trying to help him revitalize it so he can make a go with this convenience store.
Seems like a fair trade to get a gas pumps fixed, to get that whole facade fixed up.
And there again, we have to comply with code, or they won't even sell us the gas. So,
Yeah, I think the design ordinance and all that is falling underneath the building permit.
Yeah, yeah. So remind me again, Austin, on a conditional use for a gas pump, is this a time period again, or?
it is, and honestly, that's the difficult part, because this is a pretty substantial thing to talk about, but this is a little bit different in that the tanks are there. It's not like they're going
Have
to
to
be digging.
install them, right.
But there would be a time limit.
Is there a time frame that you're requesting for the conditional use?
to be able to get started?
No, the conditional use.
What do you mean? Go ahead.
Basically, when they approve a conditional use, they approve it for a number of years. So he's asking just, do you have a preference on number of years?
The lease with Sunoco will be 10 years. The initial lease with Sunoco, that they're going to sign a lease with my leaseor.
So the conditional use is not based on tonight's approval, it would be, or we would, I mean. how
We can
would-
do it either way. From what I understand, you're going to move pretty quickly on.
I mean, they're wanting us to call them when we get through the meeting. They're ready to move. Yes.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Would the conditional use timestamp be in line with that process? Started Friday instead of today?
It could. I mean, the fact that everything's already built, it's just more of a facade upgrade. I suspect it's going to be less an issue like the daycare when it's going to be a year or more. But if you wanted to do it for tonight, and then if it's a discrepancy at the end, we can always fix it then.
I think it's trivial.
We're making it look a lot better, I promise you that. That's the goal.
Any other questions for the applicant? Sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here to speak for or against this item? Please come forward, state your name and address. Austin, he said part of the outside building is blocked. Is that up to the current code, or would that had to be brick, or the design ordinances? It looks like there's some wood too, or metal sheets
So
or
the
something.
smooth face CMU is not a permitted material, but the in-between part of this is the conditional use tonight specifically for the pumps, the C-store
Right.
is okay to exist as is. Now, the
Right.
facade improvement, we'll work with them on anything and everything to get it better looking, but whether that's a brick veneer or a paint of the existing, I don't know.
I just kind of wish we had some plans to look at to make it easier to see, make a decision. Obviously, everybody wants to upgrade it and improve and, make it look better, so close to. It's been neglected or something for several years. Ever since I lived here, I've lived here 12 years.
I've never seen them use pumps.
And it'll have to adhere to design standards, so, I mean, I feel confident that.
Yeah, the design standards are not gonna move forward if they don't meet those.
Right.
Tonight is just to give the condition, which then helps that process move forward.
I think it'll trigger their deal with their lease with Sunoco, it sounds like. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve a conditional use permit requested by Kelly Kilgore, property owner, to allow location of gasoline pumps as an accessory use to a convenience store in the C2 Highway Commercial District located at 2810 Highway 51 South, 1.09 acre parcel located on the east side of Highway 51 and south of West South Street in Section 13, Township 3, South, Range 8, based upon the following findings, 1 through 6, for a term of 10 years.
Second.
Commissioner Doran?
Aye.
Commissioner Safley?
Aye.
Commissioner Owens?
Aye.
Commissioner Ashworth?
Aye.
Commissioner Skeen?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Oh, do we have to put a time?
He said 10 years.
Oh, I did, I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, next item is PL 1876, Nesbit Phase 13, first revision. Austin?
Yes, sir, this is the first revision of Phase 13, Nesbit Industrial. The original plat had 4 lots on 10.5 acres. The request is to combine 2 of those lots into one. So the southern terminus of Nesbit Drive, south of Nesbit Road, west of US Highway 51. Butch Davis is represented by Greg Smith, who's here tonight. The property is zoned M1 light industrial and does have access to centralized water and sewer. This plat was originally recorded on June 13th, 2023, and as you guys know, there's been several iterations of this coming through before you guys. So on the plat, as you see, is Lot 7 now proposed at 4.72 acres. Previously, that was 2 lots, and they just want to combine them to provide for a larger building area for a multi-building proposal that's soon to come. And so 4 lots on 10.5 acres, the request is to combine Lot 7 into 1 lot, and Lot 8 would be removed. The conditions you see in your staff report are just our standard conditions in the proposed motion. It includes sidewalks and plans and all the things we typically include in the subdivision. And Greg Smith is here tonight representing the application. Now I'm available if you got any questions.
Looks like this thing's finally coming to an end almost.
Trying to get there.
Go ahead, Greg. You stay.
I didn't have anything to add unless you had specific questions for me. I'd be glad to answer them.
We're combining two lots into one or splitting?
Yes, sir.
them?
We're trying to avoid having a building over property line because we want to put a
Gotcha.
different type of building in. It's going to take a little more room than that one lot was going to allow.
Just combining 7 and 8.
Gotcha.
Anybody have any questions for the applicant or else? I'll ask. I don't think there is, but is anybody here for or against this item? Please step forward. Is there a motion?
Motion to grant final plat approval for first revision, Phase 13 of Nesbit Industrial Park, 4 lots, 10.5 acres, located at the southern terminus of Nesbit Drive, south of Nesbit Road, west of US Highway 51, and east of Gwynn Road in Section 25, Township 2 South, Range 8 West, based upon the findings that the submitted final plat generally conforms to the requirements of the city's codes and ordinances, subject to the following conditions, 1 through 9.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Thorne?
Aye.
Commissioner Safley?
Aye.
Commissioner Owens?
Aye.
Commissioner Ashworth?
Aye.
Commissioner Skeen?
Aye.
Passes. Jay, you got a, is this your second one?
Recuse on this one, yes.
All right, next item on the agenda is PL 1877, Hawthorne, Section C, second revision. Austin.
Yes, sir. Similar to the last application, this is PL 1877, final plat approval for Hawthorne, Section C, second revision on the south side of Hawthorne, east of Robertson Road. Billy Myers is here tonight representing the application. The request is to combine lot 16 and 23, I believe.
Yep.
Yes, into one lot of 1.15 acres there at the corner. This property was originally recorded on December 20th, 1987. The property is zoned R15, and the applicable setbacks are listed there in your staff report. The standard subdivision comments are listed in this application, but as the subdivision is already built, most of those would not apply. The proposal is just to build one home on the 2 parcels once combined. And I've provided a proposed motion in your staff report. I'll also add, this is probably the first time I've ever seen Billy in this room without a room full of people mad at him. He's usually on the other side of these things. Yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing, he's not wearing a suit either.
Not practicing law tonight.
All right. Go ahead and come forward, state your name and address.
Billy Myers, I currently live at 1002 Van Dorn in Oxford, Mississippi 38655. But in the not too distant future, we hope my address will be 1830 Hawthorne Drive, Hernando, Mississippi 38632. And I'm here tonight, of course, as Austin said, to ask to remove the middle lot line to create one lot of 1.15 acres in Hawthorne subdivision so that I can build one house on these 2 lots. Create just lot 16.
All right. Always nice when somebody wants to increase lot size instead of decrease lot size.
I was gonna say, I'm all in favor of making it bigger.
Any questions for the applicant or Austin? Thank you, Mr. Meyer.
Thank you.
And is there anybody here for or against this item? All right, is there a motion?
Make a motion to grant final plat approval for final plat, Hawthorne, that's a duplicate there, for Hawthorne, Section C, second revision, located on the south side of Hawthorne and east of Robertson Road, subject to staff comments.
All right. You got Terry seconded.
Commissioner Thorne?
Aye.
Commissioner Safley?
Aye.
Commissioner Owens?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Ashworth.
Aye.
That item passes. Thank you, Mr. Myers, Ms. Myers.
Welcome, neighbor.
very much.
Welcome to Hernando.
Welcome to Hernando, yeah.
Welcome back.
Richard, you want to grab Shay?
Yeah.
All right, looks like the comprehensive plan update you're going to move till next month when everybody
Yes.
else is here.
Our consultant had a conflict for tonight. It kind of worked out okay with spring break like it is. So next month, on April 8th, we have a pretty good agenda. We've got a couple public hearings that I think might take a second. So I plan to try to do this exercise after the meeting, but I thought with that meeting looking like it's going, that it might be better to do it before. And so the exercise, I think I explained at the last meeting, is going to be, we met with you at lunch about it, but a physical exercise with Orion, with you guys and the Board of Aldermen and then the department heads, of a map of Hernando broken down into several tables, and then there's going to be physical pieces of how the build-out of Hernando can go and how that corresponds financially with the tax base and then with the land use of which each of these little pieces represent. And so they're going to coordinate the whole exercise, and we'll get a lot of good feedback out of it. But it's going to take a second, and so I was going to see if you guys were okay coming in either 4 or 5, and we could talk about it before the meeting on the 8th. Our meeting will be at 6, and just to give us time to really concentrate on that rather than either trying to hurry through the planning commission meeting or it going late and then me keeping you guys late, and then I like to involve the board as well. So are you guys okay with coming in at 4, or would you want to move it to 5?
I can come in at 4. Yeah.
Probably need as much time as possible, especially with the board members being here too, the aldermen.
It's the 8th of April.
Yes, sir. It's our next planning commission meeting.
I'm fine personally with it.
I can do it.
I'm good.
Russell has court.
Russell might be the
Tuesday,
one
so
that,
he probably wouldn't.
Okay. I'll circulate an email in the next, probably this week, once I circle back with our board. But tentatively, let's do 4 o'clock on the 8th, and then our planning commission meeting will be at 6 on the 8th. And we've launched a public survey. I know a lot of you already taken it, and please distribute it if you haven't. We've gotten lots of responses and lots of really good feedback. So, plan is progressing.
motion to adjourn? Motion.